Thank you, sir. It is my privilege to now invite our guest of honor, Shri Sudhir Jalan, to kindly deliver his address.
Mr. Chairman, respected Yashwantji, a former finance minister and hopefully a future finance minister. Mr. Srimad Jaipuria, Dr. Pankaj Gupta, Dr. Rajiv Thakur, esteemed guests, fellow students, some of whom are here and some of who I understand are watching us on the video link. I feel deeply honored to have been invited here. As Sharad has said, I have been involved in the institute both as a patron and as a board member for 13 years, and I have seen it grow, and it has really grown. From a small one unit in Lucknow to 4 excellent campuses. I've had the privilege of visiting 3 of them and find each one better than the other. Whereas the initiative came from Sharad, now as the time changes, Srivats has taken over and is giving the right thrust, and the dynamics of change are coming from him. I wish the Institute and all of you all the best. I'm particularly very happy that I'm sharing this platform with Yashwant. In fact, we have become almost a natural couple. We have shared so many platforms, so many dioceses from 1997. I would say at least 50 times we have spoken together. And I remember the last time I was in Jaipuria Institute, I was speaking at Lucknow, and if my memory doesn't fail me, it's about 8 years back, I used a word that we practiced Jugalbandi. If he was Pandit Ravi Shankar, I was Ustad Zakir Ali Khan. And we made good music together. We created a national economic agenda, which was very progressive, which was private sector friendly, which was growth led, and we had the brilliant Yashwantji to see that it is implemented. He walked the talk. If Dr. Manmohan Singh is called the father of economic reforms, I can say without doubt, Yashwantji was the mother. And remember, paternity can be questioned, maternity. So there are 2 parts to the theme. I've come to the serious part now, the resurgence and globalization. Were we resurgent? Are we resurgent? Will we be resurgent? From 1991, we were resurgent. We were almost growing 1%, 0.5% every year, and we reached 8 to 9% rate. Are we resurgent? Anyone will know. No. We have slid down to below 5% rate of growth. And in spite of all the claims of the government, I do not see the current year reaching 5% GDP growth. Signs are dismal. Things are very slow. We can still call ourselves, first we were calling ourselves the second fastest growing, now we call ourselves the third. Probably we are the 5th or 6th already. Whereas the world is now improving, the US is showing a resurgence, India is still staying behind. Can we be resurgent? Most definitely, yes. India has all the means, the wherewithal, the brains, the entrepreneurship to bring us back to a 6% growth in next year, 14-15, to 8% growth soon thereafter, and then on to 10%. What do we have to do for this? And why is this? The total reform spirit is gone. There is an indecisive government. I'm sad to say this, and I'm not saying this politically, but this is the fact of life. They take one step forward, three back. That is half-hearted reform. You have to decide on something very definitely. If you want to change, say, in driving from left of the road to an American pattern of right of the road, either you go left or right. You can't say, I'll drive in the center of the road. You will have a collision. There is no such halfway. You have to be very clear in the steps that you want to take. You can't be half pregnant. Either you're full pregnant or you're not. To go back to the management students, there are, as you probably know, four ways of economics. One was the original one, Adam Smith type, the Austrian type, which is of extreme right. The second was the Marxist type, which meant extreme left, as followed in the Russia and earlier form of China and East Europe in 20s, 30s, until early 60s, 70s. Then there was the left of center, a model which India adopted, regrettably, particularly from 69 to 1990, when now we slipped down even from our Hindu rate of growth and we were almost bankrupt. And then the right of the center from 1991 to, shall I say, 2006, at the most 2007. After that, we again veered around to left of center. And this change from monetarist to the Keynesian style of economics has brought our country's resurgence to a point. Just think, how do you solve this? If any one of us have heart problem and we are sitting in Noida, who do you remember? Dr. Krehan, not Dr. Rajiv Thakur. If you want to do well in a World Cup cricket final, who do you want? Dhoni, not Sudhir Jalan. If you want the resurgence to come in the Indian economy, who do you want to lead? A Tata, a Ambani, a Narayan Murthy, or perhaps a General Electric, perhaps a Walmart, a Google, not a bureaucrat who is indecisive, who doesn't know what to do, he's scared shit today, or a politician whose first priority is either the vote bank or ... I will not define it further. How do we progress? If country is to get back into the right path, the arithmetic of politics has to be replaced by the geometry of economics. Otherwise, there is no growing again. Do we have the means to do so? Definitely. When we adopt, we must go for the best. Unfortunately, India is lacking in some of them. If it is available elsewhere in the world, why not go for them? Why don't you go to the developed West? Why don't you go to the resurgent China, which has become totally Western and capitalistic, far more capitalistic than some of the Western countries? Why don't we unleash the animal spirits which are there in India and which were prevalent in 1991 and are again unleashed by Yashwantji in 98, 99. If we do that, we can come back again to our growth. After the liberalization and privatization, the next step has to be globalization. You must get the best of technology, the best of capital, the best of brains, and the best of practices which are being followed. I don't care where it comes from. We have to beg, borrow, doesn't matter, and apply to local conditions. As Professor C.K. Prahlad said, we apply the global best practices to local conditions or go global. That is the only way forward. We must accept that technology, the manufacturing capacity now resides in China. Capital surplus is in the Middle East. The future market is in Africa. We cannot ignore this. We cannot all the time look inwards and say we have it all. India is a great country. I am proud to be an Indian. But we must get the best out of the rest of the world. Unfortunately, I don't know whom to blame, but we have created any word like global MNCs as a dirty word. And we are always scared that East India Company colonization will come back. East India today is so weak that we are scared of getting the best of the rest of the world. Are we not strong enough to stand on our own feet and be the path creators of the world rather than just hanging on to the fears? There is nothing to fear except fear itself. If we always say we can't do it, we never can. If you want to move, we have to move. When today the best practices in retail want to come in, if the Walmarts of the world are to come in, we all get scared and say it will create massive unemployment. I've heard that 150 years, 200 years back, when trains and locomotives were introduced, it was said there will be massive unemployment because all the bullock cart persons will be gone. And for those of us, particularly in the front row and on the dais side who are waiting here, we remember 30 years back, when computerization was being brought in, it was said unemployment will be created. Did these things create unemployment or did they create more employment and progress? We have to accept that things are changing. Communist China has changed. Why can't we? China has shown us the way. Otherwise, as Indira Nui, the chairman of Pepsi, said, India is losing its steam, India is losing its fizz. There was a time, till 6-7 years back, India was a must invest. Now it's already become can invest. I hope we will change the policies before people say shall not invest. I'd like to conclude by saying that if we are to become globalized, then people should not think, the rest of the world should not be thinking only as sold in India or even manufactured in India. They must think of designed in India and dreamt of India. I am confident with globalization, our resurgence is now. Thank you.